sweet line. Sheriff Miller by his side. Lively Blue Reds, heart supply.
And it's all brought to you by Big Rapids Tire. Hi, Pat.
Hi, Bobby. How are you?
All right.
Are we on this morning? Are we?
We're on.
This is where everybody turns us off and we're turned on.
Oh, no,
right?
no. They turn you on now.
Turned us on now?
Yeah, and they don't listen to when I'm on.
Wow, Wednesdays go by fast. You know, you young guys, we got a couple, three in here. I tell you, the older I get, wow, these weeks are flying by. And, you know, my first question to everybody is, what's it all about? What are we supposed to be doing in this life of ours, you know? And these guys are with us today. They are pretty important to our lives, I will say. You know, a lot of tragic things have been going on, like what happened down in Cincinnati there. I just can't believe that happened, that poor lady down there. And no protection down there. So, I mean, people can get on, whatever. But, gosh, pray for people. I don't know why they're so darn rude. I try to make people happy, not sad, right? Jason Lazinski's with me this morning. Morning, Jason. Yeah, well, I'm on a roll. You know, what's it all about? You're going to be asked that question in a little bit here. What good are we doing? You know, I mean, I think you're doing a pretty good job. You, in the schools there every day, you see what's going on with the young people. And, you know, it's stressful enough for older people, let alone what these young people's minds are going through right today with bullying and the competition that we have in sports and a lot of mental aspects into the game there, isn't it, Jason?
There's a ton. I'm not sure, Pat. If we really think, if we look at the overall, is it a ton different, do you think, from before?
No.
Or is just everything out in public now?
Yeah,
is social media telling us everything? Do we know so much more about what's happening in Cincinnati and what's happening in TC? I mean, you know, do you see that up in Traverse City and you go,
right?
Oh my God.
Well, of course, I don't think that's ever happened in a size of a city like Traverse City, but we do have a mental illness problem, but Brian Miller will elaborate on that. Good morning, Brian.
Morning. How are you?
All right, good. And then we have a guest this morning, Ethan.
Yes, sir.
Last name's Beebe?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm pretty good. I'm Brian. This is the first time ever a special guest here this morning. We have another Jason Lazinski, and the size of you, boy, you guys would be some pretty good offensive linemen here. I know Jason was. You know, Jason, I got to tell you, I got a plaque in my garage, and I should have brought it this morning with me. Every play, every day, or what was that?
Every player, every play, yes.
Yeah. And my dad, it was named after my dad for some reason. I guess Jeff Pierce loved my dad as much as we all did. And
big supporter.
Yeah.
We all knew, playing in the 90s, we definitely knew your dad, and your business was a big supporter of Ferris football, so for sure.
Well, then every year they had a player picked out of, how many players did you have back on your team back in the day, 100 or?
Yeah, there was always, start off the season with over 100, and you know, you kind of dwindled down as you went, but start of the year always 100.
Yeah, and you do know, and I brought this up before, but you're on that plaque.
I did receive it, and it was an honor, right?
Was it 99?
I believe it was 99, so that was our year. We won the championship, got held out of the playoffs, had a really good year, had the number one offense in Division II. Kind of a bummer we got held out of the playoffs. The playoff system was a little different then, so our region wasn't well represented at that time. But
well, it was only one player. It was kind of like our Harlan
Hill?
Yeah. And Jason, I just want to ask you, you know, you had 100 players on there and you got picked. Why is that? What did you do? Did you step up the whole team, or was you a senior that year and you kind of led the team on morale and work ethic? Or tell a young guy today, how's he going to get his name on something like that?
Yeah, I mean, no one ever. When you win an award like that, I don't think you want to sit there and also brag yourself up, right? And that's a tough piece. But I think anyone that ever watched me play, which again we're getting less of those as we're getting old here, but I played every play like it was my last play.
Okay.
The guy lined up across from me, I wanted to hurt them or win or dominate or every play. There wasn't a playoff. There wasn't a time that I was going to let that guy have an advantage over me. I try to preach that to all my kids and everything else, that you want to win. This is our chance to win every play, and that's the way I did it. It wasn't my last year. It was my So like it would have been my senior year, but my fourth senior year, right? So
What were you, a center or offensive guard or?
Yep, I was a center.
Okay.
Center.
Quarterback was?
So every girl in Fair State in 99 and 2000, 98, 97 were all very jealous of me because the quarterback put his hand on my butt.
Oh, yeah,
on
right.
Every play he got to touch
Who was the
me.
quarterback? McCarthy or?
McCarthy was.
Oh, yeah.
He did get McCarthy he hurt his knee the 1 year, went down, so he had a season-ending injury. So Gunsel, who's a coach over in Ludington now, so we met him up in the playoffs. His son's playing, so my son played against each other. Good player over in Ludington too. So
Yeah. How about influence your dad? What your dad influence on your dad had on you?
And you know this, you talk, listen to you guys' show here, and you talk about your dad very highly, as I did. My parents, I had great parents. I guess maybe even just say sometimes you don't know how blessed you are, right? And I remember even as a kid saying, "Oh, I have it so rough," and you look back and, wow, they'd let me do whatever I wanted, and what a blessed life I have. Some people always talk about how tough life is, and even when I've been thrown punches, they've taught me how to stand up, right? And even though, and then sports are that way too, right? Like sometimes you get bad weeks, bad months, on that roller coaster of life, right? And you can't stay in those lows and you can't stay in those highs. You got to find some middle ground, right? And that's what sports and my family and Dad was a great man. He never missed a game. Of course, he was lucky. Worked at GM and got to retire at 52, right? And so he went to every one of my games. If I was out in Winona, Minnesota, or North Dakota, I'd see that 63 flag flying up in the stands, and I knew Mom and Dad were there, right? And might not see them in the stands, but I'd get that little look. I'd see that 63 flag flying, and I said, "They're here. Let's put a show on for them. Let's try to get them a victory, right?"
Yeah. Besides God, though, he was the most important person in your life, wasn't he, Jason?
Yep. The parents were phenomenal. Dad was. He was. I know I've told the story on this show before,
No, it's
so
all right.
I don't want to repeat it, but. We're going to be playing Paw Paw, Big Rapids. My son, he'll play against a guy that I played with, Dennis Fry, who was a mountain of a man. His son's going to Kentucky. His other son's playing in Eastern Michigan right now, and he was from a family. He didn't have a good dad. He didn't have a father figure. He was raised by his mom, who worked hard, but. Anyways, I remember after our games, I'd meet up with my dad and we'd give each other a hug. Dad was a big man, 6'6". Yep. Give each other a hug, sometimes even a kiss, right? And I remember my friend telling me, "God, that seems so strange. That's weird." And when we met after the Paw Paw Big Rapids game last year, he told me, he said, "Hey, I remember seeing you and your dad doing that and how weird I thought that was." He says, "But I hug my kids after every game. I give my kids kisses all the time because, he said, I saw how much you loved your dad, how much your dad meant to you, and I want to be that for my kids," right? And it was kind of shocking when he told me that, So.
Well, the reason I asked you that, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're good. You're good.
Well, the reason I asked you that is because that's the story of life. And I knew what you were going to say, and people have to hear that because the importance of life is family. And the legacy that you want to live and leave is Jason Lazinski's kind of life. You're very fortunate, but I don't know if so much as you're fortunate, your dad knew what he was doing. A dad is very important in people's lives and make you who you are. And I looked at you. I remember you playing back in the day. Yeah, you were a tough guy out there. You kind of like the offensive guy. Ed Filion was on the defensive side. You guys had a lot in common. You both turned out to be good fathers. But you learned that from your dad, and it trickles on down, and that's what life's all about. So thank you for that story. That's a good one. We got a new guy in town here. You've been a guy at the schools for how many years, Jason?
This is 10th year. Been 10.
Wow.
Yeah, it kind of crazy. It creeps on you fast. I do love every moment of it. The kids keep you young. And again, when I'm in the schools, it reminds me that it's not a ton different than 30 years ago when I was in there. Kids are just trying to find their ways, right? But hopefully they have good parents, right?
Yeah.
hopefully they take some guidance out of sports or athletics or any after school activities that they can to get some guidance, find a job, right? It seems like not a ton of these kids nowadays have jobs either, right? I mean, I played sports full time, 3 sports, even in college, and still always worked. Found a time to work, right? So it's keep your mind busy, because if your mind's down, you find ways to get in trouble, right?
Yeah, well, I just want to, one more thing on your family. You're doing a great job. My compliment to you is your son, Jonathan. Real nice young man. I mean, he comes in the gas station with all kinds of respect. Always got a nice smile, very respectful. And that's the best compliment you can get from anybody is your son out in the public, how he acts and reacts to conversations. And you've done a nice job on him. So the tradition of Lazinskis are going down pretty darn good. But anyway, you got some help this year. We got a special guest with us.
Well, I'm sorry, Pat. I just got to say, I got to follow up on that. I can't say it's just me. The wife. You said the beautiful smile. Well, she's a dental hygienist, right?
Right. So, oh yeah, that's good. Well, no, you have a wonderful wife, Carrie. It's just. I don't envy, because I was very fortunate too. My mother and dad raised us with love in our family and discipline and respect of others and stuff. So I was very fortunate. But Jonathan will look down and as he goes through life and say the same thing you just said now. 20 years from now, he'll be saying the same thing about his dad, how important he was. But a mother is the most important. There's no doubt about it. But a good dad is...
It's very important.
Yes. Yeah. And you got great daughters, too. 2 daughters. We want to mention them, too. You're doing a good job on them. But just like you and your wife, you got beautiful smiles. That's great. Brian's doing a great job. We won't talk about him. But, Brian, I'll let you introduce our guest besides Jason Lazinski this morning. A little bit about him and how you picked him and what happened here at Chippewa Hills.
Okay. Well, last fall, last spring, Chip Hill's administration came to us and said, we'd like to get a deputy out here full time, and we'd be willing to, cover the salary and benefits and such. And we think it's important. Didn't come to fruition just out of nowhere. That came because of the job that Jason had done out there and the reputation and respect that they had for him. We went to Big Rapids and then Morley Stanwood, and they agreed to share a deputy and cover those expenses and the salary. I went back to Jason and just said, hey, we're doing this because of you. Where would you be? And honestly, I think it was really hard on him. I'm not going to speak for him, but I know it was hard, and kind of kicked it around because I think he had built some relationships at Chip Hills along with Big Rapids. Finally, Jason came back and said, I'll take the Big Rapids and Morley Stanwood. And so we opened it up. We had a couple people interview at our office, Ethan being one, another one, Izzy Vajay, who had done a great job also. We chose Ethan, and Ethan will be starting out here this school year as their school resource deputy. Ethan will be perfect for it. He's kind of a little man child, not a little, a big man child, who I guess he said it perfectly. When he came to me and said, "Yeah, I'd be interested in doing this," he goes, "I can talk to the brains, I can talk to the artsy kids, and I can talk to the sports kids because I did all of them while in school." And he's just got that personality. He's got a heck of a voice too. So before we leave, we'll have him sing a song.
Good, yeah.
So
I don't think so.
And then he also would like to kind of get into coaching. And I when I was in the schools, did that, and Jason has done it. And I think it's just another avenue, being that school resource where you can build some relationships. And I thought, okay, let's get him on the show today, introduce him to everybody. He's worked at night since he's been here, so a lot of people may not know him. They probably just thought he was a Sasquatch or something walking around. Yeah. So I thought, let's get him on there and have him introduce himself and talk about the athletic side of things and what he intends to bring to the position. So I'll let him introduce himself. He's from Roscommon.
That's right.
So
Roscommon Bucks.
so I'll let you go, Ethan. It's all yours.
Yeah. So hello, I'm Ethan Beebe. Like the sheriff said, I'm from Roscommon, Michigan. I was born in Petoskey. Then my family moved down, settled down in a little town called St. Helen. Grew up in Roscommon. Went to Roscommon Elementary, middle, and high school. Both my mom and my dad graduated from there. My older sister did, and sure enough, I did as well. Yeah, like the sheriff was saying, I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. I was in jazz band, concert band, marching band, choir. I did theater. I did the musicals during the fall time, and then I did a lot of stuff, like with my church and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been here since 2022. So been loving it. I graduated from Ferris State in law enforcement, and then got hurt almost that fall during my interview for Acosta County, and I was out for a few months, and then they called me back in the summertime, said, hey, spots still open if you want it, and been loving it ever since. So yeah, it's been a good 3 years so far.
But going into the schools, I can see Jason doing it. He's got the personality. He's got the he's a big fella, so are you, obviously. But Jason seems to me like the type of guy that I'm a nice guy, but you don't want to be on my bad side. And
That's perfect.
isn't it? Am I right, Brian?
I know you're spot on.
Yeah. So you feel you kind of look at him as your mentor?
Yeah.
And he's probably helped you a lot.
Oh yeah, I was so blessed when I first started working here, because Jason was my phase 1 trainer.
Okay.
So I was able to just get to know him, and didn't realize that he was also from Fair State, played football, and but then he's told me he was a school resource deputy, and I was like, I didn't know that we had one of those,
Right.
and he's like, yeah, at that time he was going on year 8, and so I was like, man, like, he must have really loved it if he's staying this long.
Right.
And he was just telling me just how much he was passionate about the kids, and seeing them grow from elementary school to middle school, and then watching a lot of them graduate, and just the impacts. When we were going through the school, we were shadowing a couple of weeks ago, and every kid called him Deputy Jason, and it's that respect that they had for him, and just the legacy that he left for Chip Hills is something that not only do I want to hold on to, but also want to make him proud, because he has a legacy there, but I want to make my own legacy, but I want to make sure that they remember this. I'm not Jason, but I'm Ethan, but we have a lot of the same, passions for, kids to thrive, and especially no matter what it is in sports or, other extracurricular stuff that they want to do.
I see Jason too. I'm gonna pick on you, Dave, Jason, a little bit, but
That's why I brought him.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but I bet a lot of kids used you for a blanket, didn't they? They look forward to seeing you every day.
I think so. I mean, I think there's a comfortability with knowing there's a police officer there,
Right.
especially, I'll say when you first get in the schools, and Brian can back me on this. Sometimes people are a little standoffish, right? And I remember even being in the high school at first, and kids you might have known forever or see outside of the school, they were even kind of looking like, whoa, right? Like, no, he is a real police officer, right? That's like a real uniform.
Right.
But I think, once they come to know you, and I think Brian got me into coaching. We coached together the first year, so you really, really get to know kids when you coach, and I think you build that trust. They see you. They see you as a person, or a dad, or a member of the community. They see you at church, right? Like, they see you all over the place.
You ever? I go interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Well, do you ever like see freshmen come in? And I'm sure I know the answer to this, but you probably have helped freshmen come in with insecurity and a little drawn back and scared to come into the high school level. Do you ever sit there and say, hey, come over here, I want to talk to you for a little bit, and help them a little bit that way? Is that part of your job, or isn't it?
No, it for sure is part. You see a kid who maybe even's having troubles or struggling, and having that conversation, right? Having that conversation like, hey, you need to find a club, right? Like even if they're having troubles at home or they're having struggles in school, right? Well, the best way to do well in school is be held accountable, and you're held accountable when you're in a club or on a sport because you do weekly grade checks. There, you got a coach that's your mentor, or he's overlooking you or she's overlooking you, and they're holding you to be accountable, right? So there's nothing more important than a club or something. And say you got a rough life at home, or you and your mom don't get along, or you and your stepdad don't get along. Well, you're now in a sport for an hour and a half or 2 hours after school, and gives you that little extra break, right? So my number one encouragement for any kids, and I'm not specific just because I love football or I love basketball, not play anything. Get in a club, get in an organization, do something after school to occupy your mind so you're just not on a phone, or you go home with that stepdad that you don't get along with and tensions are higher, right? Like, do something, right? And Pat, just you saying that, it's funny, and Brian can say this too because he was in the schools for a long time. You'll see a kid out in public, and they'll say, "Hey, Deputy Jason," or "Mr. Lazinski," and okay, you're not sure if you recognize them, right? And I've had kids tell me, "Remember in 7th grade when you told me about, hey, you just need to wake up and do the little things. Wake up first, brush your teeth, make your bed, get to school, get your grades, and life will get easier. Life will be." And I'm going, I don't remember. I've said that speech to how many kids, right?
Right.
And the kid says, "You made it for me." And he had a job working construction, doing really well for himself.
See, you make a difference.
No idea, and didn't remember the conversation. But to him, it was a turning point, right? It was a turning point where he was in trouble a lot in school, and things were rough, right? And he turned it around, and never would have known it, right? And Brian could give you plenty of stories like that too, but it's those kind of things. And there's kids that need to check in with you every day because they might not have that father figure. The kid, the girl that I coached in 7th or 8th grade, and every day they check in and say hi and give me their little update, what's going on in their life, right? And just keep encouraging and trying to be that positive role model, right? And that's what it is, and that's what coaches should be, right? That's what teachers try to accomplish. That's what we in the school as police officers should accomplish, right? Yes, we will take the calls that we need to as police officers, but we have to be that other positive role model, right? That dad figure that someone else doesn't have.
Well, that being said, I know you had a great influence on a lot of students over there. The freshmen are coming in to being sophomores this year. They're, I'm sure, maybe it's a minority there, but are looking forward to seeing you this year. You're not going to be there. Are you going to go over there and say your goodbyes and bring in Ethan and say, hey, he's another Jason. He's just as good, if not better than me, maybe?
Yeah, just not quite as good looking. I mean,
right. Well, it's tough to beat you.
He won that. He won that argument.
But are you going to do something like that?
Yeah. So the end of the school year, we definitely went around. And,
you did.
Yeah, last year. So Ethan came in. It was 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, two days.
2 days. Okay,
right.
2 days, and we kind of did our tour, and I showed him around and talked with administration staff. So again, this is the piece that we're going to kind of work out as we go. But I think there's also a point where I think it's still important one week every 2 months or something that we should rotate. Just if he ever gets injured or he goes on leave or he goes to a school, I'm still going to have to cover either school. So it's still good to know the administration, know the staff, them to see you and feel comfortable. So I don't think it's a total closed door. We haven't really finalized that, but that's in the back of my head. That's my thought process, right? I still should probably go over there once every 8 weeks or so and just get caught up. And he should be in Big Rapids in case, again, I'm 48, right? So knee surgery or something happens, we need someone to come over here, right?
We don't want to talk about that.
Quiet. Yeah, we don't need to lose people, that's for sure. But I mean, I think that's still an important piece. But it was tough. Pat, I've been in that school for 9 years. Yeah. Had a lot of good contacts, kids, front staff, teachers, and it was tough to look them in the eye and tell them that I was going to go to Big Rapids Morley. I think most of them understood my logic. I would have liked that. I think it would have been I don't want to say easier job. To be in one district is ideal, right? Because now you're just dealing with a set of kids, and you see them from the elementary and the middle and the high school. You see them, you see their growth. They see you. They're familiar with you as you go. When you bounce from school to school, I always felt like I was never in one place enough, because, you know, about a 30-minute drive between both districts. And then, you know, Barreton Elementary, Mecosta Elementary, they're all spaced apart, right? So you even just stopping in at certain times, it always felt like you were never had enough time in the day, right? And I did love the job. I appreciated that they went out and wanted a school resource officer solely for them. I think that, in my hat's off to Michelle Newman and the superintendent out there. She pushed for it. I appreciated that. And I do feel like I let her down a little bit by saying I'd stay on this side. I really did. And there was some tears for me. There were some hugs. Just to kind of tell you a crazy story, Pat. When I kind of went and told Dawn Hawley, who's the assistant principal over there, she was a principal last year, and we had a great relationship. Worked all these years together, a ton of investigations together. Just a great lady. And I told her, got a kind of a little sad, a little teared up, right? And as I'm walking out, beautiful day out, sun's out, I had a mom walking up to the high school. And the mom says to me, are you Jason? And I said, yep, I am. She goes, you know, about 5 years ago, my kids and us went on vacation in Florida. And she said, we're carrying in groceries, and my kids were just opening up stuff, looking at stuff. And there was an older boy and a younger girl. And the older boy, they find a gun in a cabinet, right? And the parents are bringing in the luggage and different things. And she says, and the boy says, stop. Deputy Jason told me stop, don't touch. Right? So that's my little speech I give him.
Yeah.
You know, it's a stop, don't touch, run away, tell a grown up, right? And she says she comes back in, and the kid has a panicked look on his face, and he tells her, Mom, there's a gun in there. We found it, but Deputy Jason told me stop, don't touch. And so they called the police. It was a loaded gun.
Wow.
In this rental that the previous rentals left, that the cleanup crew didn't see. And I remember just kind of, I sat there in my car.
Right.
Grown man, 270 pounds,
right.
and I'm crying, right? I'm crying, going, God, am I doing the wrong thing, right? Is that God telling me that should I be staying here? Should I because 5 years I didn't hear that story, right? And the day that I told one of my closest colleagues that I'm leaving, then I hear that story, right?
Give me chills.
Oh, it was kind of mind-boggling. And almost bringing a tear to my eye right now. So.
Me too. Well, see, that's why I kind of wanted to focus on this today in this sports show. It's really...
it's more than that.
Yeah. And I knew I could get it out of you, because that's what life's all about, is making relationships, caring enough to care for people. You've done that. And you did it at Chippewa Hills. Don't think I don't talk to people, because you know I do. And I've heard what you've done over there. You don't even realize how many people you've impacted in the last 8 years. So
no pressure, Ethan.
Huh?
Yeah.
No pressure.
No, but we'll take a tear break here. Let's thank our sponsor this morning, and we'll be right back with the Bob Aldrich here in the studio, not saying anything this morning. Thank you, Bob. We'll be right back.
Hooked at Curries.
Hey, I want to tell you something. Their sandwiches are incredible. But get the cheeseburger with caramelized onions. You won't ask where the beef is.
When was the last time you checked your tires? At Big Rapids Tire, they know how important it is to keep your ride smooth, safe, and reliable. Whether you're cruising down the highway or navigating tough weather, a fresh set of tires ensures you're ready for anything. Their expert team will help you find the perfect tires for your car and get you back on the road with confidence. Brakes, alignments, struts, and shocks, they do those as well. Don't wait for a blowout, or worse, visit Big Rapids Tire for unbeatable prices, quality, and peace of mind. Big Rapids Tire, Northland Drive, just north of town.
All right, we're back.
Thank you, Big Rapids Tire. Yesterday they helped us out. We had Sergeant Jason Kupke have a tire blow on him yesterday out over in Mecosta. So he was on the side of the road.
Kind of funny you say that, Brian.
Yeah.
Every time that I've had a flat tire in a patrol car, it's two things. It's either the hottest day of the year, like last year, and I'm sweating and dying trying to change that tire, or it's snowing, 4 feet of snow, and I'm trying to. And again, that's thank God we have tow companies and those such, because man, it seems there's never a regular day that you call those guys, right? It's a rain, or it's a snow, or it's blistering hot, right? Every one of our worst days of accidents and things. So yes, all those people that help us at Big Rapids Tire, thank you for that tire yesterday.
Yeah. Well, Jason, I happened to be driving by, and Jason's like, I couldn't find the jack in the car because he was going to change it himself. It called and had Curries come out, and Mr. Pluger came out and took the vehicle over to Big Rapids Tire, and they put a new one. Jason called, and they go, "Yep, bring it right here. We'll put it right on for you." So.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, Big Rapids Tire, great people, Andrew. Beautiful building. My wife and I were coming back from Cadillac yesterday, and we drove into town. And I said, "Isn't that a beautiful building to look at when you come into Big Rapids?" You've done a great job on the outside of that place. Anyway, the inside's greater people even. But anyway, getting back to Jason and Ethan here. Poor Ethan hasn't said much, but folks, I kind of go off the cuff. As everybody knows, there's nothing really scripted here. We just talk from the heart. And I knew I could get Jason to open up how important the person, the sheriff's department has been in our public schools. I think a lot of people questioned that at first, that why do we need security? I don't know if it's just so much security as it is that person they can lean on, look at. And I applaud Brian for putting a big fella like Jason in that school, because if you put a little fella in there, they might not have got the respect right away that they deserve. But Jason, you're pretty gifted. You're pretty gifted with young people. You have a gift there. You probably should have been a teacher or a psychologist in the schools or something, but I think you're both. And I think Ethan, if you follow his direction, I think we're very fortunate to have two people like yourselves in there. I think you come from a great family too. Your dad must have been an influence on you.
Yeah, so my mom and dad, they're great people, very, very hardworking. My dad was in construction pretty much all my life, and then when the construction world kind of collapsed a few years ago, my dad was trying to do odd end jobs here and there when he could, and then went to West Virginia and Pennsylvania, worked on the oil rigs and did stuff like that for a couple years. And he came home one time, and it was literally came home 20 minutes later, phone called, and he was gone. And my sister and I, we never had that before. We always knew that if he was working, he was on a roof or doing siding, but this was he lived with his phone. And but I think if I knew what hard work was, I look at my parents, very, very blessed. My dad working all of his life, and my mom, she was a probation officer for many years, then put herself back through school, went to school online, and then she's like, what, I feel called. I think the Lord wants me to do more. And just with her upbringing is another story, but my mom put herself through law school, became an assistant prosecutor, and then a couple years down the road became a head prosecutor, first female and Roscommon prosecutor in their county history. And then a couple years ago, she ran for judge, and now she's a district judge for Roscommon and Oglala County up north. And just, I think my sister and I were able to see hard work and dedication and putting everything into something. And if you want, it's not just go get handed to you. It's hard work. I think that's what drove my sister. It's what drove me. So yeah, very, very blessed for Dennis and Mary Beebe. They're great parents, and the Lord really, really did bless me with them.
Did Jason tell you how to read kids? Well, the reason I say that is
that's something you learn, I think.
Jason, you got the guys out there that are real sincere, and then the guys that are going to try to BS you.
Sure.
You probably got to know how to read them pretty good, eh?
But it's something you learn as a police officer, and Ethan's been a police officer for a couple of years, and it's definitely in that progress. And now you're going to have to a little different. Kids are different than adults too,
yeah.
and kids, especially some of the younger ones, are some of the best liars you've ever seen at times.
I would, and Jason's right.
Yeah.
What I would used to say is, if you can interview a kid I could, if you can interview a kid, you can interview a homicide suspect.
Oh, really?
Honestly, I mean, I think it's learned. It's not something you just automatically have. I mean, you got to have some kind of a basis, but it's something you learn over time.
Yeah.
But I think as parents, we've all caught our kids doing something, or we know they did it. Oh, and you know they did it, and then they're just telling you, they got the jelly on their hands, and Dad, I didn't eat that donut, right? And you're like, so I think we've all had something like that, right, with our own kids, even, right?
Do you think you're tougher on your kid, Jason, as compared to the kids in the school?
I know he is.
Yeah. So, me and Brian have coached a ton of sports together, and unfairly to Jonathan and Cameron, we were much harder on them than we were the other kids, and harder on my daughters. I've gotten a little, I'm learning. We learn as we go. I'm a little easier on the daughter. They won't tell you that. They'll still tell you that I'm. Talk to Shane Strickler. He'll tell you I was too hard on my own daughters too. When we coached this year together and softball. But yeah, you're definitely. And I always told Jonathan, I said, I won't coach you anymore if you don't want. But I'm going to be harder on you, because if you're getting away with something, how does that look? Because you're my kid. I can't discipline another kid, or I can't have them sit out if you're doing the same thing. And I have to have you to a higher standard. Otherwise, it's a very bad look.
Is that what it is, or is it you just want them to excel? I don't know, because see, I've never coached my kids in sports.
Nope.
I was the AD at St. Mary's, but and generally in life, I'm pretty hard on both my sons, and I wished I wasn't so hard on them, because I just don't. I guess I look at them. I don't want them to make that same business mistake that I made, although I came out of it okay, and I'm sure that sometimes you have to let them go, and I have a rough time doing that. But everybody has their faults, and I haven't been a perfect dad. I know that, but I've tried to love them as much as I could, but yet sometimes you think, you're around them too much sometimes, maybe you ought to just let them have their own wings and fly, because I hear compliments on both my sons all the time, as you have, Jonathan, I'm sure, from more people than just myself. And Brian, you're the same with Cameron and Coop. God, those two boys are the nicest young people. That Cameron comes in the station, he represents the Millers at the top. I mean,
What about Cooper?
Cooper, when I talk about Cooper, seriously, I say love, because he is the most loving, uplifting young man for his age. That smile of his is kind of like his mama's.
That's a little devilish.
Well, it could.
You wonder what he's up to.
Well, he's just a lovable kid. He's
Just enjoying life, right?
Yes, he does.
Yes, he is.
And he's very honest, like you said. I mean, when you ask him a question, he answers it with honesty. He's not going to BS you.
And that's
like a lot of those kids.
With Jason, Jason and I've talked. There was a time when we coached the older boys to a point where, and then we backed off. Because it was that time. They, like you said, they needed to grow their wings, and so we did. Jason and I, coached football, basketball, baseball. They got to that point, and you are harder on your kids, and not because you're looking for them to be great or otherwise, but you want them to give effort. And if you're the coach, you're gonna hold them to the same standard, a little bit higher than what you're holding everyone else to.
Football is the mainstay here in Big Rapids. Everybody says, Big Rapids got a heck of a good football team. Pretty proud to go to those games now, and they've just came along pretty well. They got a great team coming up this fall. Baseball, though, is the all-American apple pie sport. And next year, I went to, because of Jonathan, I went to a game this year, and they have some really talented kids coming back next year. What do you expect them to do next year? Let's put them on the line here. What do you think, Jason?
I think they could be a really good team. We got pitching. We do lose some nice pieces that were seniors. Ty Gilchek, who's going to play some second level sports. Right, he's going to
Kalamazoo Valley, maybe.
Valley up, yep. and Isaac Zacco, both just mainstays on that varsity. But I think we bring a lot back. We do got some good pitching. We got again, Cameron shined at the end of the year. Having some shoulder problems though, so if we could be healthy, I think we could be really good. Jonathan and Brody Osowski,
Curdy, Carson,
yeah, just
Noah. I mean, you gotta.
and those are all guys that
Owen.
me and Brian, and we're not bragging. They always love the sport.
Right.
I remember when they were 8U, and I didn't coach. It was I think John Zacco and Brian Miller. Who else was coaching then?
Tim Heist, and probably Kobe Bettis.
Yep,
Maybe
I
at
think
that
it was
point.
Kobe. Yep, it was Kobe Bettis, and they were at a practice, and I mean these kids are 8, and I remember them practicing for an hour and a half, just working on defense, hitting balls at them, and I'm going, how can these kids still like this? Like to me, I was always an impact sport guy, right? I wanted football and the faster sports, and I'm going, how do these kids? How are they loving this, right? But they do love the sport. They all played together for a long period of time, so I hope they have a really good senior year, right? And I've told them from when I started coaching them in 9U, 10U, saying, hey guys, we're getting better for when you guys are juniors and seniors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not now. I don't care if we win the tournament today or the game today, but let's get better so when you can win when you're a junior and senior. Right?
And we were fortunate. We did win a little bit. I mean, we were fortunate. And what was nice is people used to joke about our coaches because we had like 5 coaches. It was Jason, me, John Osowski, Tim Heist, Todd Dew, and every once in a while maybe John Zacco. And everybody would be like, you got so many coaches.
Yeah.
But it worked. And, and what was nice is the older I got, the more we coached together, the more I could see when Cameron needed to be pulled aside and spoken to. Jason and I have kind of more of the same approach. We're kind of more like, we're
In your face a little bit.
I mean, and so when he needed that, I would have John Osowski or Tim Heist talk to him because their style was a little bit different than Jason and I.
Sure.
And so, it worked.
Yeah. Well, I sure enjoyed it. I'm going to try to hit more of the games next year because of I think you got some great talent coming back, and with everything clicks, I think we should see some district crowns. And
gosh, we hope so, right? It's been eluding us, that's for sure.
I know it. So it's your guys' year and next year. Football, pretty much same athletes, isn't it?
A lot of different ones, but that class is every class has its own personality, and Ethan's going to see that. I mean, he probably saw that through high school, but the more he is in the schools and begins coaching there, he'll see that every class is different. Every class has its own personality. And the junior class is great, the sophomore class is great, but that senior class has been special for a long time. I remember having this conversation with John Coles a number of years ago, and as much as I look back now and wish we could slow it down, but at that time, John and I are like, boy, wait till these kids are seniors, and and you look at what John's done with the tennis program and Carson and that group of boys, and we're coming up on our senior year of our boys now, and I don't want to. This was just 5-6 years ago. John Coles and I had this conversation.
Yeah.
And now it's here, and I wish things could slow down a little bit.
Well, it's not going to. I'll tell you that. I told Stacy Chapek years ago when Avery went into high school, I said, Stacy, this next 4 years is going to go like a blink, man. You're going to be gone. So much, man. When we go to the open house, she said, you're so right. So right. I'm always right. But anyway, you got a new basketball coach coming up, Big Rapids. We'll talk about that in another program. We wish Blake Thomas nothing but the best. I think he's got a lot of history of showing that he can coach him. And hopefully we'll get some district crowns out of him. No pressure, Blake. No pressure.
Well, let's not forget hockey either.
Hockey is number one sport in this room right now. Yeah. Well, you guys are always tough in hockey, that's for sure. And
we got 9 seniors coming back on the hockey team too. I mean, so if you look at that baseball and the number of seniors we have coming back, and the hockey and the football this year. I mean,
I know we got some good games coming up, don't we?
So the boys are down in Montrose right now on their veer camp.
Oh yeah.
Got a little checkup from Jonathan. He called me and said things are going well. That Big Rapids looks good. They feel,
in what, football?
Yeah, for football. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep, they said they're competing against
Big teams.
like East Grand Rapids. He said Muskegon Big Reds.
Really? Wow.
So he said, just and again, my kid always loved the sport he's in, but he truly does have a passion for football. I think he hurt his shoulder here in baseball, and it was kind of the first time that I had to get a pecking order, because if we had to have surgery, what are you
that's right.
What are you willing to miss? What don't you want to miss? And he's like, I'm playing through football. I'm not gonna miss that, right? And so they're down there right now. Everything that I got, and again, that's just my inside scout of Jonathan, said that they're doing really well. Guys are tough. Max looked good. Jonathan felt he was doing really well. Said that I've heard everything I've heard out of our 7-on-7s or our little camps that we've been doing all summer, that they're doing really well. So hopefully they put it together, right?
Did you help them at all then?
Nope. I haven't coached football since 6th grade, right? In 7th and 8th grade, at that time they go to, that's a paid position through the what's that called? Rocket
football.
Yeah, rocket football. And then so I backed out on that time. So it's tough though. I mean, that's tough. That's the sport that you love the most, right? And,
you put pressure on him at all?
No. Yeah, he would say yes. Yeah, he would say yes. I mean,
Well, you were a good football player. I mean, you were one of the better ones up there, and so that's kind of pressure in itself to be the son of a pretty good athlete at Ferris State. It's no put a what's up there playing football.
So the only thing that I ever really get on, Pat, that I feel, and I might give some critique or this what I feel, but it's always just an effort thing for me. It's always effort, right? So even their last game last year when we lost to Whitehall and in our playoff game at home, which what a beautiful sight, right? Like our stadium was packed.
Yeah, sure.
It was good game, hard hitting game. We came up short. It wasn't lack of heart though.
No.
And I remember it was the last drive. The other team's driving down the field, and if we get a stop, we got an outside chance of maybe score a touchdown, this, that, or other. But I just remember saying to those boys, you don't give it up now. Don't, just because the game doesn't look good, come and finish hitting, right? Don't let, I don't want to say pride, but stand up to the last minute. And that's all I was yelling to my son and not that he is an effort kid, so I don't,
right.
But don't let them see you weak just because the game might be over, right? Like you hit them hard the last.
They did too.
Exactly. And we got a little stop and had ourselves a little chance, and we got close again, right? But never let an opponent, even if they beat you, you didn't beat me, right? You were just better that day, right?
Yeah.
You were better that day, but I'm going to hit you as hard as I can the whole game. I'm going to give it my full effort the whole game, and that's all I've ever preached to him in hockey, which I've never played. I can't get out there, so it's kind of always been my favorite. I've never had a coach that, right? But every shift you should skate as hard as you can, right? Every shift that you're out there, you give it everything. That's the only thing that I've ever critiqued, and run on and off the field as fast. You know what I mean? Don't be slow or lethargic, like, and the biggest one, even in baseball, Pat, is you strike out, run off the field, right? Like, or jog off, or I don't want that terrible body language. Baseball, one of the toughest sports in the world, because you're an individual on a team sport, and when you strike out, everyone saw you strike out. When you drop a pop up or have an error, everyone saw you. And I've told the kids from when they were the youngest that they started, Hall of Famers fail 70% of the time. If you're a 300 career batting average, you are going to the Hall of Fame, and you failed 70% of the time.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, if you strike out, don't drop your head and slump off, because if you're a leader on your team, what's that ninth hitter saying? If you're the 1 through 3 hitter and you struck out and you're coming off with your hands dragging and your head down, what is that ninth guy saying? He's saying, man, I'm in trouble, right? Yeah. Like, if that guy can't get a hit and he's depressed, or what are we going to do? And that's why I do love baseball for that. It wasn't necessarily my sport when I was a youth, right? But it's a game of failures that you got to pick yourself up and try to win the next battle, right?
Definitely deserved that award back in '99, didn't he? I should
Well,
give
he
you
hasn't
that
changed.
plaque and hang it up at the Cardinal locker room. Maybe that would inspire those guys, what you were back then, and those guys that got the award before you and a couple after that. And then I think it stopped. But yeah, that award, that Big Rapids should have that award.
I mean, it really was a great accomplishment. It's what sports should be, right? So it's easy to say the quarterback's your MVP because why? The ball's in his hands every play, or he hands off, or the running back because that's who everyone sees the most, right? But the defensive lineman, the linebacker, the cornerback that does his job right every play, that maybe doesn't get his name announced like that cornerback that's covered their best player all game long. Might have had a couple tackles, but you didn't hear his name at all. But he had the game to shut down the number one receiver. Like that's the kind of stuff that football sometimes does get astray, right? Like I saw last year for our league picks, right? When they have the all conference, and I think 4 out of our 5 schools' quarterbacks were the representative of the all league team, right? And I'm going, I saw a couple of those quarterbacks, and I'm not. You're a 1-9 team. I don't know if that's your quarterback should be your all conference player, right?
Right.
But it's easy because why? They're the ones that touch the ball the most. They hand off the most. They throw the most. Probably have the most touchdowns, right? But the offensive line, you're not getting it done without the offensive line. You're not getting it done without your receivers running the routes to run the fakes, right? So yeah, it was a great honor. That's the one thing I could always take away from anything I played in sports. High school basketball, was I a great basketball player? No. But I was tough, right? There was never a guy that I didn't cover that wasn't as tall as Ethan, right? Down in the Detroit area, every center was 6'6", right? I'm 6'2", but they weren't going to beat me. They weren't going to be tougher than me, right?
Yeah. Well, it's going to be close to 10 o'clock, and I got an appointment at 10:30. I got a 35-minute drive. But
what about Ethan then?
Well, you guys can talk forever. I want to reach out to Glenna Bettis and a happy birthday to her from Two Hats Ranch. You know, my brother Phil's got this golf, the auctioneer
on Friday, right?
Auctioneer thing coming up, bringing in from all over the Midwest. And that's one of the places they're going out to Two Hats. And then Wyatt Fuller turns another year older. His grandpa Bill is in Grand Rapids in the hospital, having some complications. He's getting old, folks, and keep your prayers and thoughts for Bill Fuller. Hopefully the doctors can keep him around. He's a great storyteller, and if you've never heard his storytelling, get him to tell him before the good Lord takes him someday, because we're all going to go someday. So that's why I always like these life stories that we've heard today from Jason. You know, it's kind of funny. Jason sat down today and he goes, well, what did he say? He goes,
he's not going to do much talking.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I thought, well, I'll open him up because I love your stories, Jason, and they're an inspiration to more people than you'll ever know. I want people to pray for my cousin Carlene Curry. She was stabbed up there in that tragic thing at Walmart in Traverse City. She's in ICU.
Oh, my God.
But she's doing better. But she's a very frail lady. She's only in her 50s, but she's not plump, you might say, Bob. And therefore, she's hurting. And God, with all your prayers out there, and get them coming that way.
For all those families.
All the families. Yeah, it's just a tragic
and God
thing.
bless the men that stood up and helped. And
Yeah. We have a great world, and so we try to enjoy that. And I sure have enjoyed our talk today with Jason Lazinski and the new guy in town. And you got a great smile, just like Jason. I wish you well. And if you guys want to continue, go ahead.
We can't do it without you.
Well, you can do it without me. But I tell you what, Brian, you picked some great people to work under you, and you've done a great job over there at Mecosta County Sheriff's Department. If anybody ever wants to call in on this program, ask Brian some tough questions. I'd like to hear him answer them. But you're a great sheriff. Jason, thanks a lot for everything you do for our county and our city, and most of all, being a good parent. Because I tell you what, parents like you, what makes America a better place to live.
Hey, but I'm sorry, Brent.
Go ahead, buddy.
No.
But like you said earlier, Pat, and you thought, how old are your sons? They're in their
40s.
Both in their 40s, right?
Yeah.
And so what do? You still still question, right?
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you how many days. There's not a day that goes by. Did I do that right? Did I do that right with right? Am I doing this right with my kids? Am I doing this right? And if you're not questioning yourself or thinking about it, then you're probably not doing it right?
Yeah.
And we don't always make the right choices. That's for sure.
No,
Pat.
no.
Then I know I was 40 years old leaving Warren, Michigan, and my dad would be telling me, "You got precious cargo in there. You get there safe," right?
Yeah.
And he's talking about maybe he was talking about me, but I think he was talking about the grandkids.
Right. Oh, yeah.
He's talking about the grandkids.
Right.
And he'd
Right.
always want me to call him when I got home, right? 3-hour trip,
Right.
give him a call,
Oh,
whether it was
yeah.
1 in the morning. And he'd give me lectures that don't leave at night. You should drive in the morning. Well, at that time I worked nights and it just, and even at his age, right? He was in his upper 70s still saying, God, I got to look after that 40-year-old. That 40-year-old doesn't quite have it figured out yet.
Right.
And I probably won't. I probably won't ever have it figured out.
Well, Chad Root, I called him this morning because I saw where he had a little grandson. I can't think of his name now. It doesn't matter. But I told Chad, I says, the greatest gift God ever gave us is a grandchild. And I tell you, our children, you think that's the greatest gift, but wait till you have now he has a grandchild. And I said, May you be blessed for many, many years with that little boy.
Well, Jason, I can wait.
Yeah, I know.
I can wait a little
Well,
bit.
you don't know. You're both got good-looking boys, and I'm sure they got some cute little girls out there. And, God has a plan for all of us.
Right.
And he had a plan for you guys, and you two have been a gift to us. And I'm serious. I mean, Jason, you've made a big impact on your schools that you've worked at. I'm telling you what, very fortunate. Whoever thought that up, having the cop in the school is a genius. It's been a great added addition to him, that's for sure.
And Ethan's going to do a great job
I'm
at
sure
Chip
he
Hills, and I
do believe
I really hope that they give him that chance to coach there, whether it's middle school, high school basketball, or rocket football.
I'll coach the pickup games. I'm good with whatever.
But I think he will do an outstanding job there.
So do we have that song he's going to sing, Brian?
Yeah, here you go. Yeah.
That's okay. I'm
No,
okay.
do it.
No, I'm okay.
Wait, no,
Amazing
he
Grace.
gets him
We
in
do
the
a
car.
little
and he
Amazing
loves to
Grace
sing.
just to go out.
Get him out there.
All right. Well, I guess we're off there, Bob.
Hey, thank you very much, Bob.
Wait, Pat has to say God bless America, and then I guess we'll say it for him.
All right. God bless America.
You got it. When was the last time you checked your tires? At Big Rapids Tire, they know how important it is to keep your ride smooth, safe, and reliable. Whether you're cruising down the highway or navigating tough weather, a fresh set of tires ensures you're ready for anything. Their expert team will help you find the perfect tires for your car and get you back on the road with confidence. Brakes, alignments, struts, and shocks, they do those as well. Don't wait for a blowout or worse. Visit Big Rapids Tire for unbeatable prices, quality, and peace of mind. Big Rapids Tire, Northland Drive, just north of town.
Wednesday morning sun is rising, and Brian talking strong. High school tales and sports they bring, life's a story.